everyone, welcome back to The Road to Superman. This is the web series where we follow all the latest updates and rumors regarding the DCU's Superman movie. This is episode 85, and today we are talking about all the bits of information revealed at this year's CinemaCon. Last night, DC Studios took to the stage in a complete Superman-centric presentation, and the audience got to see 5 minutes of Superman footage. Now, we will see this as well very soon, but yesterday, before the DC Studios panel, the cast confirmed that 5 minutes of exclusive footage would be shown in front of the Minecraft movie releasing on April 3rd and 4th. And really, this was the clear sign that actually nothing would be revealed publicly during this event, and that turned out to be the case. Unfortunately, nothing was publicly shown, however we do have an in-depth description of the footage displayed to the audience, and we will see it ourselves in a day or two's time. Now, the second half of this video will be the original episode 85 of The Road to Superman, where I talked about the new promotional images and the huge cameo that was revealed. It was made the day before CinemaCon, so don't expect it to be accurate with what came out. And the reason I had to delete it in the first place was because there was a fear of the channel being hit with a copyright strike for it. However, many other channels have talked about it, so I thought I might as well include it in this video. The promo photos will have to be blurred, unfortunately, just to protect the channel, but they are all on Twitter if you want to have a look. But now on with last night at CinemaCon. Before the footage was shown, the cast and Gunn talked about parts of the movie, and this is what they had to say about Clark and Lois. There's a 10-minute scene of Lois and Clark going over their relationship, the way they look at the world, their ideals, their ethics, and how that makes them who they are. And this will be fascinating to see, and something we haven't really seen before in the movies. You have two individuals who are really good people doing the right thing, but coming at it from different perspectives, and to dedicate a whole 10 minutes to that should be a really interesting watch. Now, this other quote from Gunn is something I absolutely love. Here is what he said about what he hopes audiences take away from this film. I really do believe in this movie. There is a lack of human kindness. The internet makes fun of kindness. This is a movie that celebrates kindness and human love. And it might be cliche to say, but that is the kind of movie that the world needs right now. We need that bright, optimistic, hopeful kindness that celebrates being a good person and treating others well. The internet is filled with negativity and toxicity, and sometimes we probably don't notice when we contribute to that. And this movie sounds like it is about celebrating humans being kind to one another and not being ashamed of that, and I think the world really needs that right now. So I think that was my favorite quote of the night. Now, Gunn also teased the following: pocket universes, sorcery, flying dogs, and Max Fleischer's cartoons. Now, we know that Gunn is inspired a lot by classic versions of Superman like the Max Fleischer cartoons, and we know Krypto is in the movie, but sorcery and pocket universes are new pieces of information. To me, that sounds like maybe Cersei from Creature Commandos, and I have no idea what they mean by pocket universes, so let me know what you think that means in the comments below. But apparently this information and the following information about the footage revealed implies that the plot leak that happened recently is actually real. Now, I haven't read it, and I don't want to know anything about it because I don't want this movie to be spoiled for me, but the plot leak has had quite mixed reviews. Many saying it sounds awful, whilst others defending it, saying you can make any movie sound bad when describing the plot, which is true. I don't know if that defense is necessarily fair for this plot leak, but that's just what some are saying. Personally, I'm not going to listen at all to what the plot leak says or what people say about it, because it's all just rumors right now. Now, Gunn did also talk about where this Superman is at in his story, and he said this: he is starting to become successful at both jobs. In the big glitzy city so far away from home, he's madly in love with a woman who isn't so sure about him, and he's made a few superhuman friends who like him but think of him as naive. And this will be really cool to see. He's getting the hang of being a reporter and a superhero, and I believe Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, and Hawkgirl are his superhuman friends who think he is naive, and that will play perfectly into the role that Superman needs to play. The world sees kindness as old-fashioned, but Superman doesn't. He is hopeful and optimistic, and that will contrast with the modern-day superheroes who don't see it that way. And with Lois, I think we will really be rooting for him and hoping that by the end of the film, Lois loves Clark as much as Clark loves Lois. We also got a new look at Metropolis, and we can see the Daily Planet in the foreground and Luthor Corp in the background, which seems to be really overlooking the Daily Planet. And I think the city looks really great here. It's not much, but what we can see looks looks good. A bright and retro-futuristic Metropolis is what I think many fans have been wanting, and we finally have it. And now, let's get to the footage description, and remember, this footage is what we will see in front of the Minecraft movie in the next 2 days or so. So if you want to leave it as a surprise, then click off the video now. And all this information comes from various sources who were there, and they all seem to miss out different pieces of information. So I have merged them together to try and get everything in one cohesive story. So, the footage opens on a snowy planet. Superman crashes into the ground, wheezing and bleeding like we saw in the teaser. He whistles and Krypto appears. He leaps all over Superman, unintentionally causing him more pain. Trying to play, he licks Superman's face and runs circles around him, a scene that is more comedic than shown in the first teaser. "Krypto, take me home," Superman says. Krypto grabs Superman's cape with his mouth and begins dragging him through the snow. As they move forward, a massive ice formation rises from the ground, revealing the entrance to the Fortress of Solitude, which is shaped as an S. Inside the fortress, Superman robots rush to Superman's aid. They lift him and carry him towards a medical area. Superman thanks them, but one robot responds, "There is no need to thank us as we will not understand." The robots begin healing Superman with sunlight, but the intense light blasts causes him to scream in pain. Apparently, in a flashback sequence while Superman is being healed, we briefly see Lois Lane interviewing Superman, but he is dressed as Clark Kent, and she is talking to him about the recent criticism Superman has been under. And some compare this to Christopher Reeve's Superman being interviewed by Lois Lane. We also see extended shots from the trailer of Superman with the kaiju. Back in the fortress, Superman, now fully recovered, grows frustrated with Krypto, who has made a huge mess, and the robots express clear disapproval of the dog. As Superman flies off, Krypto watches sadly and begins to cry. The footage concludes with a glimpse of Nicholas Holter's Lex Luthor saying he's back, referring to Superman, and a brief shot of Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, but apparently we also get a much better shot of Metamorpho and Mr. Terrific. So really, the new footage is just an extended version of the teaser we already got. It focuses on scenes already revealed in the teaser trailer and just adds more context to them, and overall, it sounds like it's been really well received. It's funny, it's cool, it's emotional, and overall seems to have really made the viewers really excited to watch this film. And that's great to hear. Now, when we found out last night that we weren't going to see any of that footage until the Minecraft movie, and nothing else was going to come out, not even about other DC projects, it was actually 2:30 AM for me, so I was really tired anyway, and I found this all pretty disappointing. After expecting a trailer to release, and hoping for more information on other DC films coming out soon, and really only getting descriptions of footage shown, I was quite disappointed. However, since I've woken up this morning and am now going through all this information again, I really like what I've heard, and I think they did the right thing for Superman. I still think they should have talked more about the other upcoming DC films instead of completely ignoring them, but what they did with Superman was probably the right thing to do. The footage sounds like it expands on what the first teaser showed, and putting it in front of the Minecraft movie, which is a kids film, is a great way of alerting that demographic to the Superman movie. One user said this: "For what it's worth, I'm a middle school teacher. My students are unbelievably hyped for the Minecraft movie. They want to go out and see it opening weekend. It's a movie practically made just for them. When I told them that they're showing that sneak peek of Superman in front of Minecraft, they got excited. Warner Brothers know what they're doing with this sneak peek. It's guaranteed to get kids and families' attention." And this is completely right. It makes sense. It means you're showing extended scenes from the beginning of the movie, so doesn't spoil much while still giving audiences more that will capture the eye of those who watch the Minecraft movie, and if you can get that demographic on board, then your film and future films have a higher chance of success. Kids can't really go to the cinema on their own, so they have to go with their parents. So that means more tickets sold, so it's a good idea to reveal this footage in front of the Minecraft movie. And I think what we have heard sounds really cool. I listened to John Campier's team talking about the footage they saw, and I know he is unreliable when it comes to scoops, but one of his favorite movies is Man of Steel, just like mine, and he was raving about what he saw. He said it made him more excited for this movie, and from what he was describing, it sounded very funny and hopeful, and just a film that will make you leave with a smile on your face. Now, I'm not going to take his word for it, but based on what he has said and what many others have said about the footage shown, it sounds like it's going to be really cool, and I'm very excited to check check it out. And whilst I was hoping and actually expecting a trailer yesterday, with the footage coming out tomorrow or on Thursday, it will give us even more of an insight into the tone of the film and how the movie actually makes us feel than a trailer probably would right now. And it actually extends the time a little further for us needing a trailer and means revealing less from later on in the film until closer to the release date. And on Superman Day, which is April 18th, I reckon that is probably when the full trailer will release. Cryptic HD Quality did say a Superman trailer wasn't going to release at CinemaCon, but one will release in April, so Superman Day seems to be that likely date. And I hope a trailer does release in April, but maybe after seeing the extended scenes in a few days' time, it may feel like enough for another month or so. Who knows? Now, there were some quotes that go into the characters' motives that I will just share with you now, and a big thank you to DCU Updates for condensing them all together in a thread, which made it a lot easier to find. Lois have been dating for a few months, and now they're really learning the ins and outs of each other. What's good about them, what's not so good about them, what are their ideals like? We have Lois Lane, who's a pragmatist, and Superman is an idealist, and how does that work together? Like I said earlier, I am really looking forward to seeing how they interact and approach complicated scenarios, and how they contrast and complement one another. The central conflict resolves a lot around Lex Luthor's attempts to defeat and destroy Superman. I think Lex Luthor thinks of Superman in the way an artist thinks of AI. Here's the guy who's this incredible genius scientist who's worked his whole life to become one of the richest, most powerful men in the world, and he does it all to be lauded. And this sounds like a really good, complex motive from Luthor. I really like how Gunn described the way he sees Superman, comparing it to how artists maybe see AI. Luthor works really hard to be where he is, and Superman has little effort to be where he is, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Luthor deals with Superman. And this is what David Corenswet said on his take on Superman. The thing that I was drawn to most with Superman was the tension between his love of humanity and the role that he can play for them, and the loneliness that he feels in the fact he can never quite be one of them. And that plays out in so many different ways, not least of which is his love of being Clark Kent and getting to play as one of them, at least for short periods of time. And I really like this quote. It sounds like we will see the differences between Superman and Clark Kent, and how he switches between them, and how Superman is so desperate to be a part of the human race. David also talks about the similarities between Lex Luthor and Superman and Lois. He has all of Lois's intelligence and foresight and skepticism that allows him to make these incredible advances and control the narrative and the government and all these things that he has control over. But he has Superman's passion for the world and for being a symbol of something, standing for something, and being a public-facing symbol. And maybe the downfall is that Lex has decided what's right between those two and which should win out, whereas Superman and Lois are in a constant battle about what is right, so they each get checked by the other. And I have never thought about it like that. Luthor is kind of the corrupt version of Superman and Lois. He has elements of both of them, but ultimately chooses the wrong path. And the final quote is beautiful, and it's from Rachel Brosnahan summarizing the movie. It feels like it really is a story about what makes you human at the end of the day, and things like love and curiosity and goodness and hope and courage are all things that make us human. And the reason I love this quote is because I feel a lot of movies today are telling us why we are so bad and why we do the wrong things, whereas it sounds like with this movie it's kind of the opposite. It's celebrating the beauty of the human race, and that's something that should really be celebrated more. So I absolutely love this quote, and let me know your thoughts on all these quotes and the entire CinemaCon event in the comments below. And now we are heading into the first version of episode 85, where we are talking about the latest images as well as the surprise cameo. So it will feel like the video is restarting, but don't worry, it's not. I just thought it would be very important to include that video in this video, as what we talk about is very relevant. So I hope you enjoy, and I can't wait to see you on episode 86. Hey Hey everyone, welcome back to The Road to Superman. This is episode 85, and today we have some really exciting CinemaCon updates to go through before the event tomorrow. We also have found out who is playing Jor-El in the movie. However, this was leaked out and apparently supposed to be a surprise for the film, so when I get to talking about that, I will give you a spoiler warning because I know for those who haven't heard the news yet, you might want to keep this as a surprise. And now to the 5 new promotional images of Superman, which I imagine will go on merchandise and the banners that promote the film. And the first one we have is of Superman flying towards the camera, and I think this looks pretty cool, but some do have some issues with it, especially with the chest area and trunks area. But as this is just promotional art, I'm not going to worry about it just yet. The issue comes if it looks strange in the movie, but I think this shot looks cool. He's in the iconic pose and the colors of the suit look great, and it just looks like Superman to me. The next one we have is really cool. We have Superman floating in the air with the S in white behind him and what appears to be the Fortress of Solitude as well. And I love this art. I think this is the best one we have out of everything we got today, and it feels the most complete, like a proper poster. So I really like this one. The next is a pretty basic one. David looks great, but I think the suit looks really flat, but I guess that is just how Gunn wants the suit to look. But overall, a decent image. The fourth image is one that I have seen many rave about, but personally, I don't love it. It's cool to have the Metropolis skyline overlaid into the image of Superman, but doesn't really do too much for me. I don't love it, but I definitely don't hate it. But unfortunately, the final one doesn't look good in my opinion. His left arm looks like it's up in the air artificially, like when you put a toy's arm in the air and it can't really do it that well. And the arm stood out to me right away. I think with the bent leg as well, it just looks like an image that needs to be improved. But at the end of the day, it's just promo art for probably toys and merchandise. It's not the end of the world, and I don't think it represents the quality of the movie, but I do wish they did a better job at it. If you're trying to promote a movie, you want to show it off as well as you can. And the quality control should be the same for the merchandise as it is for the movie itself, because you want to present a consistent high quality reputation. And if the quality control is the same for these images as it is for the film, then that is where the concern lies, but I really doubt that is the case. And I think these things are mainly designed for kids anyway, and they won't overanalyze or critique these images. They will just see Superman and want to buy a backpack or a t-shirt or a water bottle. They won't be focusing on the way Superman's chest looks in a pose or if his arm looks out of place. They will just see the hero that they love and want to buy something that connects them to him. So these designs aren't a major issue, but they could easily be improved. Now, speaking of merchandise, we do have some more official Superman merch releasing soon. So if you are interested in purchasing any of this merch, keep your eyes peeled because I imagine they will go on sale tomorrow. And I am really looking forward to tomorrow. The fact we are now getting more Superman images implies that promotion is really starting to ramp up. And I think that means a trailer is right on its way. And I strongly believe one will release tomorrow. But now let's talk about the Jor-El casting leak. So if you don't want to know about this, this is where you should end the video. I really appreciate you watching, but now it is time for you to go. So for everyone else sticking around, viewer Anon revealed that Bradley Cooper is playing Jor-El in the Superman movie. Now we will get to the casting in a minute, but the reason why viewer Anon revealed this information was because people were claiming he was making up scoops about the test screenings. He said they were mixed and not as positive as Daniel RPK claimed, but people didn't believe him and said he was making it up. So to prove them wrong, he revealed the casting of Jor-El, which was supposed to be a surprise. So this was all out of spite, which is such a shame, and I could go on about why this was such a wrong thing to do, but what this does do is prove that actually his information on test screenings is reliable information. Other scoopers have also come out and said the Bradley Cooper casting is true, but was supposed to be kept a secret. So clearly viewer Anon does have inside information. So that makes his report on test screenings quite reliable, which might be a bit concerning with how he basically said the movie will be divisive. But we talked about that in the previous episode, so now onto the casting of Bradley Cooper as Jor-El. Honestly, I found it quite surprising. He wouldn't be my first choice, but I think he is a good actor, and I can see him doing well in that role. He is younger than previous actors who played Jor-El, but I don't think that's an issue, because the Jor-El that talks to Superman in the Fortress of Solitude is from when Kal-El was a baby. So Cooper's age, if anything, is still older than what Jor-El would probably be when Superman was born and sent away to Earth. So I think Bradley Cooper's age actually makes more sense for Jor-El than previous iterations of the character. Now, the only issue I could possibly have with this casting is that it's Gunn reusing an actor he's already worked with. But in all honesty, this is such a different role to what Cooper was playing in the MCU that this doesn't feel like recycling to me. Rocket Raccoon and Jor-El are incredibly different characters, and I never think of Bradley Cooper when I see Rocket, so this specific casting doesn't bother me, and I think this should have been revealed officially sooner. I don't really think any actor for Jor-El should be held as a surprise for the film, as I think it would take away from the importance of the character and focus on the actor having a cameo in the movie, which Gunn has explicitly stated he is against. So whilst Jor-El is there for a storytelling purpose, I don't think the casting should have been kept as a surprise, because it would have 100% felt like a cameo and taken away from what Jor-El's purpose is in the film. So I like this casting, but they should have announced this sooner. And let me know your thoughts on this casting news in the comments below. So in just over 24 hours, we could be looking at a new trailer for the Superman movie, and whilst I am hesitant on certain elements of this movie's promotion so far, I am still very excited for this film. The first teaser is what got me hyped for this movie, and it was a brilliant first look, and I'm hoping that tomorrow's trailer will bring back that hype I felt and elevate it even more, because this trailer is able to expand further and reveal more than what the initial teaser showed us. The first teaser apparently only showed us things from mostly the beginning of the film, whereas this trailer will display more from later on, and I'm really hoping we're in for a treat. I can't imagine they will do this whole CinemaCon event and not reveal anything new for the movie. The Warner Brothers stage is at 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. PDT, which here in the UK is midnight to 2:30 a.m. So I will be staying up late to hopefully see the trailer release online, and I will be making a video on it right away if it does happen. So let's hope we get something special for Superman tomorrow. But that is all for today's episode of The Road to Superman. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss an episode. I hope to see you here again soon, so until then, have a great day. Bye!